Hi and welcome to another interview for the course 31761, Renewables and Electricity Market. We have the pleasure to be here with Klaus now, and we'll be discussing electricity market, regulation, maybe integrated energy system. We'll see that in a minute. So thank you very much, Klaus, for being here.
Thank you for allowing me here.
Could you please tell us who you are?
Yes, as you just mentioned, I'm Klaus. I'm Klaus Skytte from DTU Management Engineering. I'm leading a small group there on energy economics and regulation. So,
well, what do you mean by energy economics? How broad is that?
What we mostly look at is regulatory aspects, where we look at how to design market, how to regulate the policy designs and so on, so in order to improve the integration of, for example, renewables.
Okay. And I guess it also expands to some of the new challenges today that might be about demand response, how we help the consumers to be more active, better interconnection with our neighbors.
Especially.
Right. Okay.
I'm an economist as background, and for that we looked a lot on behavior aspects. And of course, when you look at demand response, you want to have the right behavior. So what we look at for an economist, we say, how do you create the right incentive in order for the consumer to behave in a way that is beneficial for the market and for the society.
I think it's nice that you're here today to discuss that, because quite a few of our students may think that this market is about trading, revenues, analytics, but there's also all this kind of framework where the market is how you implement the game with the right incentive with a given target.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
Yeah, I would say that. For me, the market is just a place where the consumer and the producers are meeting in order to create a marketplace, whatever to call it, where they can trade and create the right price. So all the framework conditions around the market, that's what create the circumstances that you actually do it in the right way.
Okay, but what do you feel today is going on in this electricity market with this energy transition?
I mean, the energy transition is about reaching some energy and climate goals. So what we have is that we are shifting from our old centralized system, which was mostly fossil-based, to a new decentralized system, which will be renewable-based. And most of our resources in renewable energy is within wind and solar also. We don't have that much biomass, at least not in Denmark. So the challenge is to create a system that can actually handle that.
But for instance, you were talking about incentives and the right conditions. But we see today, for instance, renewables, technologies for renewables are becoming mature enough that maybe they need less of these subsidies and support incentive. No?
Yeah, the support incentive is being phased out more or less because it's becoming very cost efficient. But you still need to have the enough capacity, and you still need them to be active in the market. So that's what we are working on now, to create incentives for that.
Okay, so it's just different incentive to reshape after this uptake for renewable energy technology. Now we need to drive it the right way to have this kind of security of supply, the right mix also to have the flexibility, etc. So would you say that we are at a cornerstone in that energy transition? Is there something changing right now, or it's going very fast? What do you think?
It is going fast, and I think coming from a country like Denmark, where we have obtained a large share of wind and solar in the system, we are kind of pioneers in the field, so we can show the rest of the world that we're actually doing something. And we want to go further, because we want to decarbonize the Danish society, also in Europe time. So if we can show that we can build this on mostly coming from wind and solar, then we are at the cornerstone, and that's what we are doing right now. So right now, if we can have a system that can give the right incentive and do it in a sustainable, reliable, and cost-effective way, then we're on the right track. So
would you call it an exciting time for young engineers, young professionals to enter that field?
It's a very exciting time. It's a time where there's a lot of possible futures, where you have to create the future for tomorrow until 2050 and also beyond.
Yeah.
So that's long time.
And they could contribute greatly to make it happen, this transition to 100% renewable system.
I think this is the place to be as a student, because you have the Danish environment just around you, where you can see it actually can happen. And everybody's looking at Denmark. And if you have some engineer skills, so you know the system and you know how the market works together. And if you can combine that in the right way, then you are really in the
So you say
forefront.
something very, very interesting, and it's quite important. You're mentioning that maybe today the set of skills that we would like to see in these young professionals is a mix between the some say hard skills, so engineering skills, and also understanding all this market framework, being the market itself, but also the regulatory environment around. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. In the old days, we were kind of just planning the energy production because it was a central planning. But what we're doing now is more market-based. So you need to know what is the technology about, how is the system function, but you also need to know how to create the right markets and make them efficient.
Okay. Okay, but if we were to think of some of the profound changes that are happening now, so you mentioned the consumer, the role of the consumer. What would you say about this view on integrated energy systems? So the interplay between gas, electricity, and heat, for instance.
I think it's going to play a major role in the future. There's two reasons for it. The climate reason is that we do not only have to decarbonize the electricity sector, we also have to decarbonize the rest of society. It means that the heat, the transport, the gas, etc., also has to be decarbonized. And we still have the main resource available of renewable energy is wind. So there will be a lot of electrification, and the best way to do that is to have system integration. The other dimension is that when you have a lot of wind, which is fluctuating a little bit in generation, you need a lot of flexibility in the system. When you have normal household consumers, they are not that flexible. But if you have large industrial sectors like the district heating sector, the gas sector, you will have a lot of flexibility that can facilitate the integration of viable renewable energy.
That's where maybe also this idea about regulatory framework come into play. If you look at prioritizing what are the players in this game, or what are the sectors that can contribute first, somehow you try to design the system in a way that you get the most out of these people. Maybe instead of bothering, let's say, the small consumers, while they cannot do much, and it's going to be quite costly for them to make this effort.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. All right, but to finish, could you please tell us what you think this electricity, or more generally energy market, is going to look like in, say, 30 years, in 2050?
Yeah. The energy market as it is now is more or less an energy-only market where you trade energy. What I think we will look at in the future, because you will get a lot of technologies come in as wind and solar, which has almost zero marginal cost. So you might need some additional to the existing market, which could be a reliability market, capacity market, it could be other things. But it could also be, as you know better than me, probably, that you have local market compared to the wholesale market, or you have other markets, so you have kind of parallel markets coming up.
But so in all cases, you're telling us the market as we know today is most likely not going to be like that, or there even in 20 to 30 years. It's going to be different sorts of markets that are all interconnected.
Yeah, we will still have the energy market as we know it today, is my guess.
But maybe not for the same purpose.
Not for the same purpose. It will be more for the flexibility in the system, where you will trade reliability, other issues on the parallel markets.
Okay. Thank you very much for all this great insight. That sounds very exciting. So we are looking forward. So thank you.
Thank you.